What's up, guys? Pypo here, bringing you a video today of some pretty terrible and just shitty news. And it's something that I really don't like talking about. I'm gonna get into why I don't like talking about this type of stuff. I don't like when anyone talks about this kind of stuff on a large scale. And there's a few reasons behind this, but I'm gonna get into the details as I get further on. But first things you guys obviously are aware is I hate misogyny. I hate prejudice against women. I hate prejudice against anyone. I don't understand why anyone would ever feel the need to be threatened by a sex or a race or hate upon a sex or a race for whatever reason. I just never understood why that's a thing. And so naturally, there's a few things that really piss me off in this world. And something happened recently, and I have to kind of explain what it is without... It's hard for me to even speak about this because I hate doing it. But there was recently a killing at I think it was a college in America. Obviously, you guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can easily just Google anything to find this, and you'll find it pretty easily. I dislike talking about anything like this because I hate the idea of turning these killers, these serial killers, these psychopaths into celebrities. I hate the idea of doing this. It's such an awful thing these days where it's almost like it's celebrated when something like this happens. You have this whole celebrity-esque situation where some person snaps. They finally snap. They go insane. They finally that last little thing that they needed to break inside their mind finally snaps, and they go and do something terrible, something horrific. And when that happens, obviously it's often a shooting, or they run someone over with their car, or they kill multiple people. And it's horrible, but then the aftermath is almost just as horrible. A lot of times you'll have good reactions, which is people banding together and saying, obviously this guy's wrong, we need to get better at fighting this and stopping these people from getting through the cracks. But you also have this weird media situation where everyone just speaks about this singular person. Everyone puts this person on a pedestal, and everyone thinks that it's the new news. It's the most thing. It's the thing that's just happened. We need to report on it, and everyone needs to know about it. And this one stuck out to me even more so because the guy who committed the crime and did the kills and the murders actually made a YouTube video of himself talking about it beforehand, which speaks to me as someone who wants to get noticed, who wants to be seen, and someone who almost wants that fame. And I hate the fact that anyone who could commit these crimes or could do anything like this could get this famous, which is why I'm not going to talk about this particular killing, this particular instance. I'm just going to talk about this kind of thing in general, and why I think it's just approached completely wrong by a lot of people in a lot of situations. Obviously, you need to speak about this. Obviously, it's a situation where no one should ignore this. It's something that is happening, and it's something we should fight against. And it's not something that everyone should just ignore. I'm just saying it shouldn't be everywhere. It shouldn't be it's the whole, like, I forget what the saying is, but it's like if you live in fear, if you live in like their shadow, then you're letting them win. It's almost the same as that, where it's like you're letting them get what they wanted. They wanted to be famous. They wanted to be the person who is in the limelight. And I don't want them to have that. I don't want them, even though they've done these terrible things, and yes, it should be recognized, it shouldn't be recognized and celebrated almost by media outlets celebrating these people for committing crimes and giving them news. I hate it. But if you're unaware what happened, there was a killing at a university or college. I'm sorry about me getting college and university mixed up. Australia doesn't have college; they have university, so I often get the two mixed up. So naturally, this guy decided to record a YouTube video of himself and upload it to YouTube, in which he is continuously berating women and explaining how women have never basically given themselves to him, how he's never had sex in his life, how he's a virgin, and how he has lived his entire life this way and has been ignored by the opposite sex, and basically he's complaining about not getting everything he ever wants. Complete narcissistic, horrible, obvious psychopathic, remarks and things that he's talking about there. Obviously major, things that would indicate that this person has an issue. But what I want to talk about is, why did this guy not get seen? Why did this guy happen to get through his entire life up until that point in which he got so far in his own head that he went and committed these crimes and became a psychopath, became a fucking idiot who thinks that he deserves everything in the world? Well, obviously, with a lot of my discussions, this leads back to poor parenting. The person in point actually had a fairly rich family, had a very rich family who pretty much gave him everything he wanted. The child had pretty much everything he wanted except women. That was literally it. And for some reason, this person thought that women owed something to him. That for some reason, a woman should just be falling at his feet. And he goes on to say stuff like, I watch girls give themselves to other men, and this is college. I thought in college everyone got laid, and I'm not getting laid, so therefore these women are like being prejudiced against me for not giving me their pussy. Like it's the most fucked up line of thinking. That it's almost like as if he never got parented correctly. I always go back to this, but it's like when you give a child or you give anyone below the age of probably 18 everything they ever wanted. If you just give them everything, they're gonna assume that everything is owed to them. Everything is something that they can have, everything they can get, instead of, for instance, saying that you can have everything as long as you work towards it. It doesn't get given to you. It's not something that you can just have. It's something you have to go out and you have to work hard to get. That's the basis of every single parenting and what it should be like. It should never be, hey, you're my kid, so here's all this stuff. That's not a way it should be. It should be, hey, you're my kid who just worked hard in school and got an A. Hey, let's go out and get you a present, or let's go celebrate by getting pizza or something like that. This is obviously on the minute scale, on a very, formulated down to a very small, factor of this. But that's the basis of it. It should be, you work hard, you get a reward. Whereas when you're a child who just gets given everything, there's no reward in your head. There's no, if I work hard for something, I get it. It's just, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. And that's what leads to people like this being in our society, where they just assume everything is owed to them for some reason. And not only that, the prejudice against women tells me that he obviously didn't have a strong female figure in his life, and for some reason had like probably this weak female figure in his life who just let him walk all over, let him do whatever the fuck he wanted. And it's just like, it pains me to see things that could have been prevented. It pains me to see things that obviously shouldn't have happened. It could have been stopped from happening if someone just took notice of what it was and just stopped it, or recognized even that if he had already gone too far to be reconciled, or if he went too far to be fixed almost, then maybe it could have been, a situation where someone realized, okay, this guy's a psychopath, he needs to be imprisoned, or at least someone needs to go and find this guy and try and stop the situation preemptively. But obviously, a lot of the times with these people who crack like this or do these terrible things, they're often recluses. They're often people who are extreme introverts who don't spend much time with people. They might appear to be extroverts and they might spend time and seem happy, and a lot of times they don't get the help they need. And I'm not trying to sympathize with the guy. It's fucked up. And once you get to a certain point, it becomes, you're not even humane anymore. You're not part of humanity. You're something on a different level. The whole point of humanity is realizing that you're equal and you are equals to everyone else. You're not better than anyone in any single fucking way. You're not better than anyone. You're exactly equals. Everyone's put on the earth the exact same, and everyone is the exact same physically. It doesn't matter if you look different. It doesn't matter if you fucking feel different. It doesn't matter if you're a bigger guy, if you're a skinny guy, if you're a fat guy. It doesn't mean if you're female, you're black. It doesn't matter what you are. You are the same human beings. You have the exact same parts. You work the same. We all fucking do disgusting shit. We all do the same disgusting shit. We all do the fantastic, amazing stuff. But once you become someone who thinks of yourself as above that, that's when you start to have issues. That's when you start to have guys like this who think that they are owed something. When they think that they're owed everything in this world just because of the person who they are, even though they didn't work towards anything in their entire life. And it pains me to see something like this where it's a guy who just needed to be parented from a young age. It's just a guy who probably would have been absolutely fine. And excuse me for making terrible comparisons, but it's the same thing I see with pit bulls. You see like these amazing dogs, this breed of dog that I think are an amazing breed of dog. They're loyal, they're brave, they're strong, they're fantastic with children. I used to have a pit bull that was amazing with my sister's kids, and I used to have them at my house all the time. I love that dog so much, and I looked after it. But it's the same breed that when they're put under a certain circumstance, they become killers. They become dogs that will maul, that will kill other dogs and will attack kids. They've killed children. They've done all these horrible things, and it's completely based on the way that they're raised. And it's just, it pains me to think, just because these parents had money, no one thought that this kid could be in a situation where he's not someone who needs help, who needs to be parented. And I think a lot of times in these situations, it is someone who is specifically in what everyone thinks is a good situation in life. You know, his family's got money, he's going to school, he's in college, you know, he's driving around a BMW. There's no reason for him to ever have any problems, surely not. It's those guys like that, I think, that are the ones that are just slipping through the cracks, the ones that you don't realize that they have any problems, because to you on the outside, he has money. He has money, he has family. What else could he need? Well, apparently this guy needed girls, and he needed women, and he wasn't getting it, and because of that, he absolutely went insane. Now, what he did is obviously completely unforgivable, and it shouldn't be, you know, I can't even talk about it anymore without getting too emotional about it, because I fucking hate seeing this kind of stuff. So what I want to talk about is the problem that society has and the way men see women, and more on a kind of minimal scale of like what you and I can do. You know, so a lot of the times when I meet a new girl, it might be online. I'm an introvert. I meet girls online sometimes. I meet friends online, and therefore, whenever I meet a girl, it's often because we met online or we've talked to the phone or on Skype or something like that. And because of that, a lot of the times a girl is completely nervous and completely afraid to meet me. I'm not even joking. They'll be scared. They'll be frightened. Even if you talked, even if you seem like a nice guy. I mean, you guys watch my videos. I come across as a pretty confident, pretty nice guy who seems to have his shit together, right? Even so, what do you think that guy came across like when he was in his average day-to-day life? You know what I mean? He probably came across as the completely sane, completely normal, nice guy. So women out there and girls and people who are online and people who are meeting people, and just even if it's someone just going on a date, it turns into a situation where they have to be careful. And it's something men don't understand because they don't have this. Men don't have this situation where they have to be careful when they just go out like for dinner or something. If they just meet a girl and want to go out for dinner, they're not thinking, you know, am I going to meet a nice girl? Or am I gonna be murdered? That never comes into it. The threat of violence is never a part of the equation for a guy, because he knows that if it ever came to fisticuffs, if it ever came to that physical altercation, most likely he could take her. Most likely he's the bigger person, he's got more muscular definition, and he's just bigger in general. And like 9 times out of 10, he's the one that's gonna be violent towards the girl. So because of that, it comes to situations where a guy might be like, why does this girl seem so standoffish? Why does this girl seem to not want to hang out with me? I don't understand what's going on. Which unfortunately means that a lot of guys don't understand where a girl is coming from when she seems to be standoffish and seems to be weird around you when you're meeting for the first time. When in reality, it's just because she doesn't know you, man. And there's shit like this going on all over the fucking place. There's shit like this going on everywhere. It's always going on. It might not be on this scale. It might not be on the scale of like a guy loses the plot and goes and murders people. But it's always there on the scale of a guy being abusive, a guy being overpowering of a female. And because of that, there's never going to be a situation. I don't think that, honestly, I honestly wish I could say that I think one day it will end. I honestly wish I could say one day women, men, completely equal. Women will never have to worry about men being physically violent, and women will never be able to, will be able to go out and be happy and not have to deal with the threat of violence. But I think because men have that slight physical benefit of being a little bit larger, a little bit muscular, a little bit more like beefy, stronger, like we're the stronger sex. We're just naturally the strong, like I'm talking about physically and only physically, we're the stronger sex. And because of that, you're always going to have these people who abuse power. You're going to have these people who are, hey, I'm stronger than this person. And you even see it when it's not involving females. If you see like a bully in the playground, like bullying a smaller kid just because he's bigger than him. And that's always going to be there. There's always going to be those people who abuse it. And when I say there's always going to be people, they're going to do it for no reason. There's just people sometimes who just do this. It's just in their system, and it sucks. And again, I think if there was some good parenting on in the system, then this wouldn't happen. A lot of times, obviously with bullies, it's a lot of times like the kid is getting bullied at home, and he then goes out and exerts his aggressions onto other kids the only way he knows how, which is the way his dad taught him by hitting him in the face at home. Is he goes to school and then bullies a kid because that's how he thinks. This is how I get aggression out. This is how the world works. When in reality, this is completely a non-functional way to live in society. But he doesn't know that. The only way he knows to do this is from his father, and the way that his father has effectively taught him by beating him every night. You know, it's a terrible cycle, and it's something that I wish would leave, but I don't think it ever will. I honestly don't think it ever will. Like the problem with being human is you think of yourself as being a good person, you think of yourself as being a good person, but what makes you a good person is the fact that there are bad people out there. You know, I'm one of the good ones. What makes me one of the good ones? I'm not one of the bad ones. You know, that's kind of the definition. Without the bad ones, there is no good, and there's always going to be bad. There's always always going to be bad in the world. There's always going to be fucking assholes fucking shit up and doing complete stupid shit. It's always going to be there. Unfortunately, yes, but it's just part of the way the world works. And I think women are always going to be, you have to be more aware than men in situations like that. And I just wanted to say to you guys, when you go on dates and shit, when you meet a girl for the first time, be completely comforting and completely understanding of a girl, and never fucking. I hate when I see guys, even like, especially when it's a nice guy. It's even worse when it's some nice guy who actually is a genuinely nice guy, who is like a friend of mine, who's like, oh, I can never make it work with women. And it's like, well, dude, you know, you're already expecting too much. Like, if you just go in with no expectations and you just seem laid back and you are laid back and you just let it fly, then naturally the girl will feel more comfortable with you, and just give her some fucking time, man. Just give her some time to get used to you and feed off of them. Wait and see if they become more comfortable. If they do, that's when you start to like move things further. But never ever do it without, you know, them wanting to do it. I've had a few friends of mine who are good guys. I'd vouch for them any day. But they've been in situations where it's like they go on a date with a girl, you know, 2, 3, maybe 4, even 5 times, and on the 5th date they haven't had sex yet. The girl doesn't feel comfortable to do it. She doesn't know him well enough, and for some reason they feel like they have the right to get angry because the girl doesn't want to give it up. And it's like, do you not understand like the world they're living in? Like, all you have to do is turn on the news to realize what kind of like existence they have compared to a male. Obviously, like these days, it's not as bad as it used to be, but it's still very much there. Misogyny is still very much a thing, and it still exists. And as long as it exists, they're always going to be a bit more standoffish than we are as a male, you know, sex. So it's always going to be a little bit of an issue, but just try and be more understanding and try and be aware of just the simple fact that they're different than you. And it's not they're just different because they don't have a fucking cock between their legs. They're different because of the way the world treats them. The world treats them differently. Everyone treats them differently. They aren't treated the same in any way whatsoever. They've had a completely different existence to you, and because of that, they've like developed different like defensive mechanisms to deal with these random people that they don't want to fucking get into weird confrontational fucking conflict with. And this guy just came behind the pole here. This is really not a good idea for you, buddy. Really not a good idea for you, buddy. Oh my god, he almost got him there, but he unfortunately just got behind the pole. And he does have a disc priest with him. Good thing for me is disc priests often, you know, have very shitty healing, but also means that. It also means that, oh god, I'm so close to being dead. I really want to kill this fucking flag carrier. So yeah, the moral of the story is, there's always going to be guys like this out there. As far as like I'm concerned, they shouldn't be recognized or celebrated as much as they are in media. Obviously, it needs to be talked about. It needs to be a thing that's recognized because it's something that it needs to be addressed. It needs to be like made sure that it doesn't happen as often as it is happening. But at the same time, I just really wish that things like this weren't celebrated as much as they were. I use the word celebrated very deliberately, by the way. The media celebrates these people. They think, oh, it's big news, and let's go tell everyone about this. And I fucking hate every time I see in the news, like every single news channel you flip to, and it's like that one guy's face. For some reason, it's just his face up on the fucking news channel, and they're making him into a celebrity. It's the same as fucking any kind of like horrible person in the past. It's like he could have been a nobody and remained a nobody and been a nobody for his entire life. Yes, he did something traumatic that should be talked about, but you don't even have to use his name. You don't have to use his face. When you're reporting on this stuff, why can't you just say the killer? Why can't you just say the guy who committed the crimes? You don't have to say his name. You don't have to say his like fucking. You don't have to say his race. You don't have to say his sex. Just say a person. Just say a person murdered these people. Obviously, like. A lot of times people want a name to, like, I'm stuck on a fucking life post here. Jesus Christ. A lot of times people want a name. They want a person to prosecute. They want a guy to, you know, they want to get their pitchforks and go out and go on a hunt to kill this person. Which fucking, I'm all for it. Go, fuck that guy. I don't give a shit about him. But at the same time, don't just spread it around the entire fucking world, making this guy a celebrity. He is just a human being who did something terrible. Why should he get any more recognition than any other human? He should get less. He should get less recognition than anyone in the entire fucking world. He should not be a person whose name is even on. He should be fucking Voldemort. This should be a person that is not, his name's not muttered. Not because of fear, not because you're afraid of the person, but because he does not deserve to have any kind of celebrity at all. Celebrities are celebrated in our culture, and they're celebrated in such a way that makes them almost into like semi-fucking gods. Like you have all these fucking people that are celebrating, everyone looks up to them and they see him, and like everyone just loves these people. And then you have this fucking guy who's put on the same pedestal as these people, and all he did was something horrible and murdered people and fucked people over. And just ruined lives. Not even the people just he killed, but the people's families he ruined. Just so many fucked up things. And I just don't think that in any situation these people should ever be, you know, even like, I just don't understand why they need to show his face. I just don't understand. Like, why can't he just be the faceless killer? Why can't he just be a person who's never seen and is just never talked about? The problem is with this happening, it's gonna be something that's talked about for God knows how long. This is going to be something that's like, it's going to last probably like 5 months. You know, when these things happen that it lasts super, super long, it always happens where everyone's stuck on this one topic where they talk about it for so long. I just wish that people, well, I don't even mean people, I wish the media didn't shove them in your face and make them into a celebrity. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about the topic in the video below. And have a good day out here, guys. I'll see you next video. See you guys.
Come to your senses, Pypo, now! Ah!